Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric, your writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2002 movie titled Insomnia. Now, Insomnia is a crime thriller. It runs for an hour and 58 minutes long. It is directed by Christopher Nolan. It is produced by longtime television producer Paul Younger-Witt, Edward L. McDonnell, Broderick Johnson, and Andrew Kasov. The script was done by Hilary. It is actually loosely based on a 1997 Norwegian movie, also titled Insomnia, and the script was originally written by Nikolai Forbinius and Eric Skaldberg. The score, that's better. The score was done by David Druyan. The cinematography was done by Wally Pfister, and the editing was done by Dodie Dorn, and it stars, of course, three great Hollywood Oscar-winning performers: Al Pacino, the late Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank are among the Martin Donovan was also in this movie as well, but definitely the three main stars in the movie are Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank. Set in the isolated Alaskan village of Nightmute, where daylight and darkness is split 6 months apart, Insomnia tells the tale about the murder of a teenage girl named Kay Donnell, I think her name was, and assigned to the job are two Los Angeles detectives, one named Will Dormer, played by Al Pacino, and Hap Eckert, played by Martin Donovan. Looking frazzled, disheveled, and weary once getting off the plane, Dormer knows trouble awaits him. With eternal affairs determined to end his career, the idea of solving a murder in the Alaskan middle of nowhere has gotten into this grizzled veteran. Things just can't get any worse. Or can they? I mean, feeling that all hope is lost, his junior detective, Eckert, is more than propelled to tell internal affairs, only to put the old man out of pasture. And internal affairs, of course, had Eckert blackmailed him with immunity, much to the chagrin of Dormer. So they fly into Nightmute via two-engine prop plane, and they are assisted by a relatively young cop named Ellie Burr, played by Hilary Swank, who's still a bit lacking in experience as a cop, but she has great admiration for Detective Dormer, and she hopes to learn a few things from this guy who's been in the police force for over 30 years. Of course, while they were trying to search and track down this suspected killer, Dormer accidentally murders his own partner and tries to do everything he can to cover up. So, things are just not going well for him. He murdered his own partner. He might end up becoming a possible potential suspect of a murder he committed on his own, feeling disheveled because of the fact that where he comes from, it's sunlight 24/7, especially the summertime in Alaska, especially in that part of Alaska. And now he's a suspect to a murder he committed on his own. Even though we all know it was an accident. I mean, it was foggy. And he thought he got his man, but in the end he ended up getting his own partner. So now he has to face that too. So about, can things get any worse? Well, it can't get any better now, can it? Following the box office success of his first film, Memento, director Christopher Nolan goes out of his way to make this 1998 Norwegian remake of the same name by Erik Skaldberg and Nicholas Forbenius. The original film, for a psychological drama, was powerful, intense, and quite heavy-handed in details. This one is also no exception. But what's different from most remakes is that Insomnia just doesn't lazily redo every scene from beginning to end, but instead it reevaluates it, making the movie original in its delivery. Pacino's approach seems to be taking his role in a more physical approach, as opposed to the previous actor from the movie Stellan Skarsgård character from the original film. The physical approach, that is. How much more does this man have to endure? The surprise twists really come to life once the third act comes into fruition, which includes a character we don't really expect coming at us. Like both films, the development is very important. Only in this version, this version actually fans out quite better as an added bonus. It definitely has more dimension than the 1997 original film. Unlike the Norwegian version, this remake, revised by original writer Skaldberg and Forbenius, along with scriptwriter Hilary, the killer comes into the story under a more low prolific way as sort of a quiet sidekick to Detective Dormer. By now people may have totally overlooked the fact that Robin Williams was in this movie. He plays the role of a mystery author by the name of Walter Finch. And I was actually quite surprised at Robin Williams' performance here. I mean, he is totally out of his ballpark. Usually he's known for his over-the-top slapstick comedy routines in movies, but here he's playing completely different, and he plays it very well. In 2002, he has kind of took that avenue to play more like demented statistic characters rather than goofy, over-the-top characters that used to. I mean, between this period of time, around 2001 to 2003, he was tackling movies with a more edgier turn, like Death to Smoochie, 1 Hour Photo, and this movie, Insomnia. Here, Walter Finch actually doesn't admit to being a murderer, even though his killing was barbaric and violent. Hey, we all slip from time to time, don't we? We all deserve a bit of redemption now, don't we? Dormer remains restless in a village that barely sees sundown, and he seems to be placed in one precarious situation after another. By arresting Finch, Dormer will have to be a victim of his own cover. Dormer believes something scheming is going on. It's obscure that a thriller focuses on moral issues and feelings of shame and guilt, but Nolan does not still ignore the Hollywood requirements that all Hollywood thrillers always seems to somewhat have to end in a cliched epic shootout. And here, of course, we have that. There are some memorable, exciting scenes in this movie. It's not just all psychological stuff. There's a lot of quick-paced stuff in here. Like, who could ever forget when there was this foot chase between Dormer and Finch over some floating logs, and another where a character is drowning underwater and, you know, trying to escape from the frozen trenches. I mean, it may be exciting, but was it really that necessary? Not while the psychological elements are very high. I just don't think high-flying action was really needed in this caliber of a film. I'm not saying that exciting, quick-paced stuff was contrived or forced. No, it just wasn't really needed. You know, the mind games that Finch played on Dormer was pretty cool stuff, pretty exciting things that went about it. Sure, the action and the fast pace was a nice bonus, but I just don't think it was needed. It's obscure that a thriller focused... Oh, sorry. Williams and Pacino definitely do have great chemistry. Sorry. And the reason for that is because Detective Dormer can visualize his visage to his antagonists in a sea of self-deception. The two contrasting characters are what character studies are all about. This movie is a character study. It's not just some brainless crime drama things. I mean, I've seen a lot of crime drama stuff, like from all the Law and Orders and all the other Without a Trace, Las Vegas and stuff like that. And most of them are, you know, set for the intellectually minded people. But, you know, this is truly a character study film. Here we see Dormer. He's overwhelmed, fatigued, and he's spurting dark circles around his eyes, and is just lacking in composure. And sometimes this lack of composure has almost gotten himself killed in more ways than one. I mean, I think the guy looks like he could be almost ready to retire anytime soon. Like he's had enough. Hey, 30 years in the police service, you know, that deserves a mutual salute there, right there, bar none. While Finch, he's the smooth operator. He's a guy who's convinced of his own case. Along with 1 Hour Photo, which also was previewed at the Sundance Film Festival that same year, really shows that even throughout most of his career, Williams, who has of course starred in mostly comedies, he is quite able to play dramatic roles quite convincingly. In the case like psychological thrillers, this one, Death to Smoochie, and 1 Hour Photo was definitely a highlight year for Robin Williams, trying to take a different avenue in his career. And you know, that really is something, you know, that's good, you know, trying to break away from typecast. Well, Nolan definitely took the ability to direct this remake. Okay, why did Nolan took the liberty to direct this remake? Was that Memento was truly a one-of-a-kind. Attempting to make another film like that could be tiresome. Insomnia is a film that shows even crime can happen in the most remote places in the world, which makes it all the more original. Not all the big crimes take place in New York City, Los Angeles, or Chicago, but even in small areas, which actually goes by the quote, "No place is really that safe." It also shows that many eyes are onto Pacino's character, no matter where he is. Paranoia is everywhere, leaving him with very few to trust and few to seek reassurance. Even his own partner was going to try to nail him. He doesn't know who to turn to. And I give him credit for playing the role very well. If I was to give this movie a score out of 10, I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10. This is a great movie to watch. I highly recommend it for those who like crime, psychological dramas. This one is a really, really good film to watch and to enjoy. Well, I guess this ends my writer review. Thank you all for listening in. Please subscribe to my channel if you would like. You can leave a comment. Remember, be kind, be courteous, don't be rude. And I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Eric Writer saying keep watching those movies, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.